Have you ever just stopped and wondered where all our country's money actually goes? I mean, the national budget, it's this giant roadmap, but it's written in numbers so massive they're almost impossible to wrap your head around. So in this explainer, we're going to decode that map. We're going to follow the money step by step and see what it tells us about our nation's real priorities. Let's dive in. Okay, here it is. The big number for the 2026-27 fiscal year, over 53 lakh crore rupees. I mean, just look at that. It's such a staggering figure, it's almost abstract. To put it in perspective for you, if you spent 1 crore rupees every single hour, it would take you more than 600 years to get through this much money. So yeah, this isn't just a number. It's the fuel for our entire country's engine for a whole year. So what does that really mean? Well, simply put, this is the total amount the government plans to spend on absolutely everything. We're talking about everything from building a new highway, to funding a space mission, to paying salaries, to providing social support for millions. It's the grand total of the whole shebang. And that, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. How on earth do you break down a number this big into something that actually makes sense? Where are the biggest chunks of this money really going? Well, that's the journey we're about to take. To start, we're going to zoom in on the biggest pieces of the pie, the ministries. How the budget gets divided up among them, that tells us a whole lot about what the nation is focusing on right now. And this chart, wow, it lays out the top priorities pretty clearly, doesn't it? Just look at those two biggest slices. The Ministry of Defense gets the largest share at nearly 6 lakh crore rupees. That makes national security the #1 area of spending. And right behind it is the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, which tells you there's a huge push for infrastructure, which is, always tied to economic growth and connecting the country. And this slide really puts that scale into perspective. The budget for defense alone is more than double the combined budgets for both health and education. It's a really striking comparison, and it shows a very clear financial priority. Securing our borders and modernizing our armed forces is a top concern. So we've seen the big picture at the ministry level, but how does all that money actually translate into specific programs? Things that people might actually recognize? Let's zoom in another level to the government's big flagship schemes. This table shows us exactly where some of those huge investments are targeted. Right at the top, with over 95,000 crore, is the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which basically provides a minimum number of paid workdays to rural families. Next up, you've got the Jal Jeevan Mission, a massive project to get clean drinking water to homes. And then there's PM Kisan, which gives direct income support to millions of farmers. So it's pretty clear from this that rural development and welfare are a huge focus. Now let's look at one of the most direct ways government spending affects daily life: subsidies. This is the money the government spends to make essential goods more affordable for all of us. And the total amount set aside just for subsidies is absolutely immense. We're talking over 4.5 lakh crore rupees. To put that in context again, this single category of spending is nearly as large as the entire defense budget. That really tells you how significant this is. So where is all this subsidy money going? This chart breaks it down perfectly. The food subsidy is by far the largest chunk. It's all about ensuring affordable grain for a huge portion of our population. The second biggest is the fertilizer subsidy, which is a direct support to farmers to help keep their costs down. Together, these two areas make up almost the entire subsidy bill. Okay, so we've looked at the ministries, we've looked at the schemes, and we've looked at subsidies. Let's zoom back out now and try to piece this all together. What is the overall story that these numbers are actually telling us? Well, when we connect all the dots, a really clear picture starts to emerge. It seems the budget is making two really big bets. On one hand, it's investing heavily in national security and infrastructure. And on the other hand, it's pouring a massive amount of money into citizen welfare, especially through rural development schemes and huge subsidies for food and farming. At the end of the day, it's a financial map that's trying to build a nation that is both strong and, at the same time, supportive of its people. So, there you have it. We followed the money from that giant 53 lakh crore number all the way down to individual schemes and subsidies. We've seen the priorities laid out pretty much in black and white. So the final question really is for you. Now that you've seen this map of our nation's spending, what story does it tell you about our shared priorities and about the path we're on?